Just welcome back. I am going to be working on the documentation a little bit for the input manager, maybe the stack manager as well, and then going to work on some of the other parts of the project, just figuring out what to do next and what should or should not be made or updated. Documentation for sure needs to get made, get better, uh, both in the attack manager and in my note-taking app Obsidian. Um, turns if the sequence is valid. Get sequence, balance sequences. How does it use buffer check, get balance sequences, input H, if the size is greater than 0? I feel like this is not what it should be. It could return true or false, realistically. Additionally, it really shouldn't be an array. I felt that equals sequence made more sense. Okay, now I'm finding that I don't fully understand why it does this take the most recent sequence. And if the sequence reader, or this function is only reading one sequence, it will always return that sequence. But the problem is, if I do a specific sequence followed by another specific sequence, am I getting the most recent results? Let's try and test that. First, down, down, left, left, and then down, down, right, right, light kick, down, quarter circle forward for the special. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted to press. So, okay. If it checks all attacks first, then the priority is the order in which the attacks are defined for special moves. But that's not what I care about. I care about the most recent input being red, not the least recent. How do I test this? Do I have the ability to test this properly? I probably just need to define some of the attacks correctly. Um, Input manager. Like kick models I don't care about. I want to use forward, quarter circle, what? Light punch probably. Forward, quarter circle down. Let's do heavy kick launch. So if I do essentially two quarter circles, one in reverse with the other one, starting from down, going to right, and then back down to down, I should get the most recent input, which is down forward. Okay, focus on the thing. Down, down, forward, forward, down, forward, down. Press light kick. We get down quarter circle forward. Rather than the heavy kick, which was the more recent input set. But the hitbox is not active. Okay. So apparently, by doing the sequence like this. It gives me the quarter circle attack, but it fails to do it correctly. Meaning I have a severely worse logic bug. Yeah, it's going to be a problem if that's the case. Heavy kick gets activated, but the attack that does come out as well is also it's also so it does all of the attacks that fit? Because it's a for loop, so add a break, I think? If I do it now, down, down, forward, 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 down, light kick. I got quarter circle down, forward with the special move, and the special move did bring its full thing. Did I do the inputs right? There's a 2-3-6 and there's a 2-3-6 in reverse, so no, the down quarter circle special should not be coming out. But because of the ordering, sorry, but because of the neutral normals, it's coming out because it was defined before forward down. Yes, it's defined before forward down. In fact, it would take the most priority out of every attack in the entire game for the specials because it's the first defined. Uh, um, if I want to take the most recent attack, how would I change that? Like, if I try to do it with my own reactions, I don't know if I could. It's difficult. I'm also just not sure how I would do that then, because I'm using a for loop. Um, hmm, the current problem with this is it doesn't take what the most recent input was with priority. It takes whatever the priority of the special moves are instead. Which is a problem. Uh, like, that's a pretty severe problem. Hmm. Hmm. If I want this to work, I need to do the buffer check in a way that provides indexes to me, which is here. It returns valid. Okay. But then for all of the sequences, if I do for all of these and I do get valid sequences attack, put the first and second keys in, or sorry, the third and fourth ones. So maybe if I valid attack, or this one, comma, bits of a dictionary, let's type int, comma, int. Yep. Then this dot merge space get. So I get a dictionary with its index. I return that same dictionary and its index to the choose function for whatever is valid. So we check for valid attacks instead. Then we check okay, let's actually do this check first, because I don't think that's where the problem lies. The problem lies in this part. Okay. Alrighty. So we now know what attack is valid this frame. Should be buffered, right? Um, Hold up, before I do this, because of the buffer, run it on frame perfect inputs, because the sequence is at least 3. Is it able to? No. Because of the 5-frame buffer, it physically cannot do the attack within time. Okay, so the current workaround is um, okay. For the chooses what attack is best to be used based on if the last attack value is in the buffer. Actually, is based on player state and the most recent sequence. Thing is, though, however, there is a workaround where a sequence must be 5 or must be at least 3 inputs. Otherwise, the otherwise the priority is not the first attack, but is instead the first in the dictionary. Just a test. Input history, and let's use this to try to check. It says it attacks this frame. And do the buffer check with instead this thing dot keys. Do this one with this, and then dot min to get a single value. Okay, Control C. Now that we're using input history, it wouldn't cause a problem. Invalid type cannot convert one argument from int to array. What type are you returning? You're returning a dictionary of two integers. Let's redefine it then first. It can't get put into a bit. Why is this the problem? Hmm. Let's force type it. It still breaks, okay. I'm a little confused as get dictionary, get valid dictionary sequence gives a dictionary. No? It should be getting a dictionary, so I don't know why it's not making it work. It doesn't make sense. Mm, why are you not working? What's the type? Why is there a type problem? Should I do this? Hmm. Ah. I haven't even gotten to the next part yet, which is just annoying. Oh, yeah, I see the problem now. Okay. Okay. Argument 2 is nil. There's this equals no colon continue. Does it work? Yeah, okay. Please let me move the window. Okay, it's working. Preset. Down, down, forward, 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 down, forward, down. Light kick. The full attack comes out properly. And I think this check is more robust. I'm not sure if this is the right way to check it. So kind of what is happening is that we check, see if there are any valid attacks. Then if there aren't, we just check again with the other attacks until we run out of attacks to check. But if there is a valid attack, we check if it's been buffered, and because of this min check, we get the most recent attack rather than the latest attack. Interesting. I also just use the input history. I believe because this is more robust, it works better. But I'm not 100% sure if it's the best way to do this. One, it's significantly less clear. Mm, by sorting it, we put the minimum value first. I don't know if I like this. The clarity has it gone down? Has it increased? Has it, I don't know. I don't know. It's triple nested. If we're attacking for every special, check. So we need to check if we're attacking. We need to check if the partial key is true. Then, if the partial keys are true, the valid attacks are added, then sorted so that the minimum value is first. Okay. If it's empty, you go back. If it's empty, go back. Or would it make sense for the buffer check to be later then, since we're going back? If I just say continue, we continue this entire thing, this section, until we run out of checks. Right or wrong? If this is false, this will run. In this case, if the thing was empty, it would run. What if this is unindented and then unindented outside of the loop? Well, then attack is not defined, which is a problem. Ah. Because we didn't check the button, we don't know what the button is. The buffer usually checks what the button is, and I'm really annoyed that I don't know what the button is. Hmm. So far, the best thing has been this with a buffered array that has such a small window that it causes a problem. I'd like it to be more robust. In this form, when it hits the continue, it goes back every single time it has a true key. If it has a false key, it will just run. Okay, what if we get these first, then we check the two sets of keys. Um, this line fails already. Uh, it just ends up not mattering, except for the final one. But we don't have the correct state, which means this is just not, it's just not working. This is really the best I have, which is surprising. I don't like how it's not robust enough. Mm, um, the problem here is that I'm using buffered array. I can only get the most recent sequence if it is if the sequence is wait a second. Why is it that I'm using a buffer check for 5 inputs? I have to be very, very precise. Okay, that's a fail as well. So input history needs to be put here. Stop that, please. Buffer check takes input history would make more sense. Would that make sense? And then a single input check. Um, I check if a specific button has been pressed and I don't fill in the input history. I should be throwing in input history. So this is easy to input, but it's just not the correct one to input when I am trying to change the priority of the attack. You can see I have 236 and 632. The 632, which is um, what should be being read backwards, so 236. 236 backwards is 632. So you go from this direction, that way, and it should give me the attack. But no, unfortunately, I'm not getting that, which is a problem, because I'm supposed to get that. Uh, I need to make this work to use the most recent input, not the wrong one, not the first attack in the list of all special attacks. Not sure how to do that. Check all matching attacks, find which one has the most recent. Start attacks only with the most recent, but okay. Get valid sequences gives me the thing. What do you want me to do? You want me to get an attack and the best frame. So during the for loop, I should update these two things. That makes a lot of sense. I think I've done that in some other things, like the get valid sequences. For specials, do the partial key check. Make a valid variable, get the valid thing. Do this is already happening somewhere else, which is the buffer check here. Right? That's already happening somewhere. I believe that's literally just the button check for buffer. This is the buffer check. Okay. I think this part makes sense to update it. So let me try to make something that makes sense here. Alright, so we do our checks. If they're valid, then yeah, but we shouldn't start the attack yet. If it's valid, add this to a valid list. So valid attack. List of what type, or actually, it was using best index, which makes sense. And then also our best attack is fine. This would be an int. This would be an attack. So then, yeah, buffer check does not return an index. Which is why it wants me to do this, to get the valid sequences. So if we get the valid sequence, we get a dictionary. This would be our valids dictionary type. So the attack has been checked. The sequence has been checked twice, which I think is why it wants me to do that instead. Don't want to copy the entire line, just this. Okay. So if the key and the buffer check are correct, get the sequence and its index. Alright, so then best index equals this thing. Get valid sequences returns one thing, not all list of things. So I want to. It returns a dictionary. I could make it a return an array instead. Might be easier. No, that's why I wanted a dictionary. Okay. Get valid sequences. I really hate that I don't, that it keeps telling me to, or teleporting me to another thing. Valid dot get or add whatever this is. Okay. I really don't understand why this is like this. It checks the sequence, but it doesn't do the buffer check until after, and it just specifically pulls the buffer check line rather than doing the buffer check. Why are you doing the buffer check outside of the buffer? Checks all matching attacks, finds which ones have the most recent or smallest frame number, calls get valid sequences once per attack, better than using buffer check, which you have to modify. Explain why you are doing it like that, as you essentially check if the buffer to by doing this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the attacks, check the input history, whatnot. Attack manager does start all special attacks. Mm-hmm. Valid gets a sequence, and then this when the inputs happen. I want to check the attack's validity first before I add it being valid, which does mean getting sequenced twice. Um, does it make more sense to get the sequence once? Because if it doesn't return anything, if it just returns null, then would it not be like if I do the single input check first, check buffered array, comma, what attack button this would be attack and then the last index, which is 3, colon. So we've done 3 of the 4 checks. We're now on the 4th check, which is the sequence check. If it's real, add this. So we add to our list of valid attacks. We have our valid attacks. We take those valids. Wait, actually type it correctly. Int, comma, int. Get or add. That's if it passes all 3 checks. Or all 4 checks. I might as well just put this as an and space, unindent, put new lines, bracket it so it's all together. Okay. So 3 of the 4 key checks, and then check the sequence. If the sequence is correct, get the thing. Okay. Valids gets 2 things: the index, which is the first part of the dictionary, and the min, the int. Alright, so then if I sort it, I'll know that the first one dot sort. Cool. And I need to be outside of this for the attack manager, actually. Remove the break. Yeah, I know. Okay. So then balance.sort. Balance sticks around. It has the best attack. It has the index. And since it's outside of the loop, it is technically still usable. However, because I checked attacks and specials, well, if all the specials fail, first off, if all the specials fail, then there shouldn't be a thing that overlaps with what they wanted, right? Maybe? Then let's sort at the end, and then get the valid. I'll get the first key. Mm. And I really don't like that this is just keys dot valids, keys dot keys dot in. Because the keys are going to be sorted by like numerical value as well. And then just get the minimum value. Too many arguments for sort. Sorry. That should be it. Okay. Restart this thing. Why did you die? Uh, where is it supposed to be then? Close this. Stop it. Just. Where is it supposed to be? Where is the damn thing supposed to be? If it's null, just do a null check. Okay. Let me run it, see where it actually broke. It broke there during this line, which is where the null check should be. If valids is not null, run it. Does it auto break? Yes. Yep, okay. So if it's equal to null, pass, else, run it again. Auto broke. Okay. Null check is not the correct check. Let's go dictionary check of an empty dictionary. Okay, it did an auto break. Okay, that's fine. Down, down, forward, forward. No, okay, why is it now not just working at all? It's spelling valid wrong this entire time again. Literally doing the attack doesn't work at all. Why? It should be working. We have the correct state, we have the correct secondary state, we have the correct button being pressed, and then we check the sequences, which, when we do get sequence for every attack, and check every sequence, we should get the sequence and its index. Is that not happening? Plus reader. Stop spelling things wrong. Why does it read 1.5? It reads 5 twice, why? Well, the other 5 times that it's run, it doesn't get the correct thing. Um, it's mostly just getting 1. It's mostly just getting 5, which is surprising. Because it should be getting other things as well. Okay, you got dash, which is neat. It's not getting order circles. What has you broken? Ah, yeah, you are. Type index makes sense. This starts at counting 0, digit 0, current digit 0, increment 1. Total digits would be size minus 1, would it not? Huh? Because it has to get slightly more. Again, God, gosh darn it. Dashes are fine. Border circles don't seem fine. The reader is working properly on the buffer stuff. For like, if I press up, it just works for up. Live and up. Yeah, why does this cause me so much pain? But why is it not adding quarter circles? If the quarter circle attack was working fine before. It's not adding quarter circles because it's freaking not doing anything. Okay. Frame by frame. Down, down, forward, forward, kick. Nope. That's funny, I like this. Yeah, it does it. It finally does it. So you broke it for some reason. Valid underscore sequences. Okay. The sequences are valid. And then we check if a button is pressed. If this is greater than 0, or just 0 less than this. Oh, there's a ton of errors. What the hell? Let me undo all my changes before I commented. Okay. So 303, this was breaking because v.get, is it getting the right type? Receive type dictionary of int. What? Attempts to get type. Oh, this should be merge. Overwrite, I'm going to set to true, actually. TR. Okay. Now that it's merged the dictionary, instead, does it work how I want it to? It tried to start. Start attack and an ace attack hunter cannot convert argument 1 from int to object. Because it's not an attack. Fair. Print valids, it gives me the sequence and its index. So then var sequence var index. And you checked what? The frame to choose the attack. the sequence. Let me check for a logic error in theirs. It checks if the frame is the min. It updates the best attack, but it doesn't actually call for the next attack. So then here, I should go index equals balance dot get dot keys dot min. Okay, cool. Don't think this matters. Or that. Then var most underscore recent attack. There's no check. It's equal to this thing. All specials dot get the key, which should be this thing dot get based on the index, and then attacks brackets 0 bracket 1 and comma attack bracket 3. Okay. Just do an alt check. Restart, try it. Tax work in general. I pressed light kick on its own. So that needs an alt check as well. And since it's a dictionary, if this equals that, call it pass. And then else, it should actually work. Okay, that's fine. Now then, down, down, forward, 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 down, kick. Wait, what? Did I press the right button? Down, down, forward, 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 down, light kick. Heavy kick, launch. Both sequences are there. However, 632 had the minimum value, which means it was the correct thing to use, and it was correct. Okay, amazing, epic. I believe you reading this here. Yes. Okay, it just has no thing. All right. Input manager returns the sequence if it's valid. Sorry, returns the index of the sequence if it's valid. Okay. Task manager here, a little bit more complicated, but it worked. Okay. This if statement does 3 out of 4 of the key check. Do I have a short enough attack? That's like a few frames that are acceptable. Okay, basic is just slightly too long. It's got stuff though. Okay. Light punch knockdown. It has 3 frames. Pressing it once activates it twice, which is neat. So yeah, if the attack is short enough, it will activate again. Or if you press the button before you finish attacking within 5 frames, you will attack again, which is the point of a buffer, and that is good. Okay. Oh, I just thought about this. If I want jump cancels, jumping might need to be an attack that's a combo attack, Or I have a button that says jump cancel. I think it being an attack might make more sense. That, or there's a separate jump button, which is probably more likely for me. Um, Alrighty. Do I think the choose action function is done correctly now, finally, and is significantly more readable? Well, we've got keys check here, the four keys, the fourth key check, check that also grabs the index of the sequences, and then this mm, has the most recent attack, because the new most recent attack is this. And it's the most recent index if it needs to change. And then start the attack. Okay. Do I have any issues with copy pasting? Don't think so. It's a little longer, but it's not as bad as what I had initially, which is great. I'd love to get rid of these, um, which I believe this can be done. Okay. I think that makes the most sense out of anything that could be changed. Just makes it on one more line. Okay. Specials are good. Command normals. Again, command normals. There should only be two of these. Command normals, and then neutral normals, and neutral normals. Okay, did you break? Because I put you in the wrong spot. What is this function? Okay, so neutral normals dot this and attack manager in here. That is fixing the bugs. Overwrite is in fact necessary. Okay. Let me fix my spelling with also. Anything else? Mm-hmm. We want to say loop end. Right, don't break on me. Yep, seems fine. Can I do this? Which one are you? Specials. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, projectile making sense to be something you can attack while it's out. Fair. Um, Great, that actually reduces the lines even more, which is wonderful. I can get away with these. Haha. Now it's very readable. Epic. Um, Null check. What do I comment this as? Most recent tag. Updates. Index. It doesn't get looked at because it's just not. Wait, why did frame 8 work? Um, if the sequence is on frame 8, subtract 5, you got 3. That's the 3 input values for the full sequence. Wait, 22, down, down, forward, forward. And then press like heck. 2, 3, 6. The 2 is read on 4, which is fine. Sure. Either way, we're actually only caring about the end button, not the beginning button. Okay. Maybe punch. Maybe kick. Why did input history die like on the last frame? Let me go the second last frame. Okay. Light kick. Heavy kick launch. I guess because this is what it read, and one more step would actually be out of bounds. All right. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. I don't think there's too much for input manager. Move lists are probably done. Movement, I think I already redid. Um, Delta, is attack manager okay? I need to look into curve 2Ds. Are attacks reasonable? What else is there? Health isn't much. I can also check the to-do list. Fix problem with attacking is attacking two places. That's been done. Add a add projectiles button. Remake this. I don't know. Fast move and gravity. I didn't actually do these two yet. I will mark this one as done. These two. Copy again. Do I have a fast move speed button? Do I have a run? Movement folder, movement. Movement update, desired direction and speed. Move speed. Player. Crouching, etc. Entity base. There is no fast move speed, I think. Hurt boxes. Full scripts only. Uh, and let's ignore that. It's just. How's dash being used? It's just vector right, vector left, etc. Can air dash and then like gravity is being disabled if it's dashing or not. Dashing is jump cancelable, and jumping is jump dash cancelable? I have forgotten that I set jump to something else. Yes, so both of them are cancelable into each other. Okay. Which can be fun. Can remove the local equals from this. And projectile button. Probably one of the simple ones to do. And just yeah, make animation node is probably another thing that I should do. It seems bigger though. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it and spend a reasonable amount of time on it. Combo UI. I could learn Curve 2D. Devlog script. Um, this is hard. Hard to do right. And make the code nice. Mm, let me hide the ones that are like kind of done. That's just more like a mini responsible use of AI. One way to handle frame by frame stuff. Quick frame tool. This is probably another script thing I can do. Okay. So add a projectile button and add to this specific script. Hook into curve 2D. And a simple damage function. Tag. Move list. Input manager has so many functions. Manages the player inputs to check the tag based on the motion done state of the player on 4 vars um, is on floor, is facing right, demotion input, and the button pressed within the buffered array. There's a lot of variables. Get a tag button, movement, manger, um, jump, dash, their handlers. Is gravity really there? Or is this just mess with it? Okay. Dash handlers, flip X logic. Yeah, has array management functions. Dictionary, dictionary. Okay. Um, I'm tired now. I hope this was of benefit to whoever may be watching, and I will be going to sleep now. Bye bye. Ma salama.